Welcome. You're listening to the 27th Hour with Junior
and Dre Rocker.
Get ready, strap in, and hang on.
Hey, welcome to the club.
Okay, we're on the right track.
Like, so you good? You guys find the game. I don't know.
Welcome back to the show.
Hello, Rhonda.
Hi. How's it going?
How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you, Junior.
Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome, but thank you for saving my life.
I don't know if it was that much, but you're welcome.
I'm pretty sure you saved my life. We had quite the run-in there for a minute, didn't we?
I think so. But thank you for letting me work on you.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was quite the ordeal we went through. So we're having you back on because I think it's really important to start really talking about some of the stuff going on around this world, don't you? When I went up there for that treatment, we talked and we're like, this we got to have another podcast. We need to talk. People need to hear some of this stuff. It's crazy. I contracted COVID and shingles at the same time and almost died and went to you and you completely saved my life. No doctors. No, you're the doctor. No Western medicine. No, nothing like this. It was all done with herbs and it was all done with your treatments and all your help. And I think that's so important to tell the world that we can talk about this and it's okay. And there's other options out there that are more effective even than what everybody's going through. That was a scary time for me. I've never been sick really in my life like that. I've never been scared. I've never felt like that. I've never felt anything of the sort. I've never been scared. I don't think. Truly scared. And I was absolutely terrified. I thought I was dying. I'm pretty sure I was dying. So I don't know how that happened. I don't know how if one triggered the other. I don't get it, but that your practice completely turned this all around. The herbs, all that stuff is so incredibly powerful, and I think we should talk about it. I really do. How powerful all that is. I didn't go to the doctor at all, not even one time, and we cured it. It took about a week, but shingles and COVID at the same time. That either one will take you out, and I had them both. I don't know how they triggered each other. I don't understand how it all went, but can we talk anything about any of that, or do you want to hop right to our call? What do you want to do?
Well, let's go through introductions.
Okay.
And then we can talk about your case.
Let's do it.
And then Roxene, after that, we can go ahead and...
Oh, yeah. There we go.
And then we can
Who do we
figure out where we want to go after that, and then we can do introductions. Do you like that idea, Roxene?
Oh, yeah, I'm here. Just tell me where I need to start.
Who do we have? Who do we have on the phone with us? This is the first time for us to do this. It's cool. This is awesome.
Go ahead and do your introductions, dear.
Oh, okay. All right, Rhonda, here I am. My name is Roxene Bates. I'm a retired airline captain. I'm 6 decades old plus as a kid, truly. I'm licensed in California as a primary care physician of Oriental medicine, a doctor, and a licensed acupuncturist. In Utah, I'm a diplomat of Oriental medicine, a licensed acupuncturist. Oh, my medical background includes integrative oncology, pediatric care, family health, acupuncture, and detox and psycho-emotional therapies. And, of course, in California, I'm a member of the California State Oriental Medical Association, the certification of acupuncturist. I'm on the medical board here in Utah for the licensure, and I'm also a member of the Acupuncture Regenerative Medicine Society. I love to ski and snowboard. I have a lot of injury history, and this got me into this medicine when all I got was a cut and paste, but nobody would heal me, so I had to figure out what I needed to do, and I investigated a lot. And that's what I like to do. I investigate, figure out what will work. And so my medicine is actually integrated. In other words, Western contemporary, also with traditional Asian medicine of all different kinds. And then I kind of go, well, which is going to be the better thing? And a lot of times it's the Oriental medicine is the better thing. And unfortunately, people don't know about it. And so they come to us last as a last resort, when in reality, they should come to us first. And then if they need to do something contemporary, then we go in that direction. But I
Totally
absolutely love
agree.
this medicine.
Totally agree. And
Rhonda,
those
fabulous.
herbs are incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
So amazing.
You got to know.
Yeah, how it works. Wow.
Yeah,
Where do you live
gotta-
at now then? Are you in Utah or are you?
Yeah, I'm in Utah. I've been here for about 6 years now. Up here in northern Utah, I call it Northern Mecca,
Mecca.
Cache Valley.
Oh, you're up in the bad air. Oh, they got the bad air up there.
Yeah, I know, but it comes all up from Salt Lake too.
That's true. That's very true. It's beautiful up there.
Yeah, it can be really good. But yeah, figuring out this medicine, a lot of people don't realize the depth that this medicine has. They think of acupuncture, they go, oh, I've heard about that. That's, some needles, dry needling or trigger point therapy or what have you. Well, if you think about Western medicine, if you say, well, Western medicine is just a flu shot. Well, that's about, the depth that you're thinking of when you think of acupuncture only, because there's so many other modalities in the toolbox, which are really exciting and very effective, as you already know, Junior.
Yes, it's life-changing. It's so incredibly this medicine is so ancient too, right? This practice is older than anything that we know of.
Yeah.
And that's what's
exactly
beautiful about how it's so incredibly powerful. And I don't think it's talked about enough. I think people need to hear more about it and know there's options. Yeah. There's options. And like you said, both ways are great. Let's find the best way and go at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so you take a drug, and what people don't understand is that drug doesn't work one direction. It goes all over your body, and it creates domino effects. And these are the unwanted side effects, which they need another drug to rectify. Whereas in herbal medicine, the whole plant, the synergistic aspect of that plant over ancient history and a lot of what we call clinical trials on millions of peasants, because the peasants would be the ones that got experimented on before they gave it to the emperor and the empress. So this stuff works really well.
Right. Had to run it through the hierarchy to make sure they didn't die. This worked great. It is so crazy how, isn't it like, it's like 5,000 years old or something like that, isn't it? This practice, this Chinese, oh my God, that's amazing. How
I hear India has some medicine that goes 8,000 years back, but they use acupuncture too. Yeah. But it's not recognized like Chinese medicine is more standardized, so it's more recognized because of the way they do it. I don't even really know any Indian, in East Indian practitioners that do acupuncture. Do you, Roxene?
Yeah, it's called Marma Puncture. It's a part of karma and your chakras, and the Marma Puncture is also a part of acupuncture. Indian, of course, which is also part of the Ayurvedic medicine, which the Ayurvedic medicine is, again, like an herbal, a massage, and acupuncture type medicine that, really has a lot of its, innovations through the Chinese aspect, too, because you think of Asia, and everybody transferred stuff around on the Silk Road, and Genghis Khan and all those guys, they went everywhere, spreading their germs and their medicine, right?
And their seed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, and their seed, absolutely. So and everything. But no, there's a lot of different kinds of acupuncture. You've got the Japanese kind, which I know Rhonda talked about, right? You do a little bit more Japanese, Rhonda?
Yes, I do a lot of Japanese style. It depends on if I'm treating babies and all that stuff, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And Tibetan If you do like Tibetan medicine, a lot of it's based on water therapy and herbal baths, just like you do in Switzerland when you go to some of the spas there, and you have what they call a hay bath, which is all the herbs in your bathtub. It's part of balneal therapy in Tibet. So you've got this whole wide array of information that Western medicine disowned because we have this clinical trial golden standard, where we double blind stuff and we don't take into account the actual person themselves, and it becomes a one size fits all. Well, this is not that kind of medicine. It can be varied for each individual, and that's why it's effective. I mean, why not have something that works for you instead of getting, plowed through with something that, one size fits all, right?
Yeah, it's a very personable thing. That's how that's why it works so well. It's you guys go at that exact problem. You work with that person, that second, that time, that illness, that ailment, whatever it is, and it's not just a blanketed pill or a blanketed idea of therapy. It's like you go right at it with this person, with this ideas, with these herbs, with this acupuncture. It's so, just that piece of it alone is so powerfully, it's powerful. You're going right at it with the person. It feels so much more personable and effective.
Well,
absolutely.
Like with you came in and you have symptom A, B, C, D. And that was the first time I had seen that in this whole deal in the last year and a half.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've run across somebody getting shingles and COVID at the same time and getting the side effects from that. So can I treat you the same as I would the person that came in and had a stuffy nose? I can't do that. And that's not how, I'm not going to give you the same thing. There may be some similar herbal supplements that we're going to do, or some ideas. And just like you said, Roxene, we're not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater and ignore everything. We're going to look at all the new items that are out there too. We're going to keep an open mind. That doesn't mean that we're not implementing new integrative ideas such as the PEMF, which I use in my practice. That is a new technology, but it works. So why would I not use that? Of course I'm going to use that. The electrical acupuncture, the E-stem, using that with the needles can be super powerful, and it can get a job done a lot faster with a lot more efficacy. So I can treat more people in a day and get more efficiency. Would I ignore that? Yeah, no. But I'm not going to use it on every single person either. I'm going to have people that come in that are super sensitive, and I'm going to have to look at it. And that's the whole thing about this medicine. I believe it's more like an art. You have to pull from your toolbox, and you're not going to always get it perfect right every time. So people will come into me and they'll give me like one chance to get through it. And it may take 3 or 4 chances, because it's a process a lot of times. But usually I haven't run across a case where we didn't work through it over time. And usually we get some good results within the first time, but it doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes it's a process. It depends on the person, how sick they are, how toxic their body is, what's going on, how bad is the disease. For instance, can I talk about Erica?
Oh, yeah.
So Erica took a little bit longer with the shingles. How fast did you recover from your shingles?
Both of them together was only like a week.
And shingles usually take a long time.
Oh,
so look at how much faster you recovered than she did. She's not even completely fully recovered. Yeah. We're still battling it a little bit. So there's going to be, it's for the most part pretty much gone, but you still have some problems once in a while. Yeah. So.
And go ahead. What'd you say?
I just said while he was going through it, it was activating the shingles in my head.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a full blown.
No, I got back on the antivirals right away, and it's calmed down. And plus the ear treatment you gave me when we were up there, I think helped too.
Good.
It's such a strange time right now. I'm a man that doesn't get sick. I hate saying that, but I just don't. People that know me know I'm just a weird breed of brutal, tough thing that doesn't go through this stuff. I don't get anything. I just don't. I get a little cold here and there. I don't get very, very sick. This was scary. This was the scariest thing I've ever been through in my life. I don't know what's happening, but it's obviously strong enough to grab a hold of me and pull me to the ground like it's nothing. So people need to be aware of preventatives, of things we can do to help with this. She helped me the whole way through, and she's okay. I wonder why that is. We can't talk about that we're on horse tranquilizers or anything like that. These things work. This stuff works, and it's beautiful the way all this works.
Right, and the main thing is that it does no harm.
Absolutely.
It does no harm when it's done by someone who is well trained.
Well, let me step back just for 1 second. So when I was in medical school, one of my husband, he got a really bad rash, and we went to one of the best doctors in the world from China. He was one of our professors that was training me, and I went to him, and he was going to China, so he just put Mike on some herbs, and then he went off, and he was ignoring me, and I'm like, I'm seeing side effects with Mike. So the thing that I learned with that is he gave him more herbs because he didn't want to mess with him. He was leaving for China. I get that. But it was like, no, something's going on here. We need to talk. And he was very busy, and he kind of put me on the back burner a little bit. And I noticed one day that Mike's lower back was swelling up. And so he was retaining a lot of water. He was getting really itchy. And finally he broke out in full hives. He ended up having hives for 4 months.
Oh, God damn.
So yes, Roxene, I agree, but we can have problems if you're not careful. So people, if they've got a good doctor they can talk to, then you're on top of things like that. It's not going to happen. So we just need to be communicating back and forth is what I'm saying with our patients.
Exactly.
And with the herbs, like you do with us, and you check our pulse, would that have helped him if he would have tested different herbs and hold them? Like how you do that? That is so weird. It's insanity to me how it works. It actually, you can feel the difference of the herbs in your blood pressure.
Yeah.
That blows my mind. Had he done that with Mike, I'm certain he would have felt something.
Yeah, and see, he was a TCM, so this comes back to a little bit on the different styles. He's TCM. Mm-hmm. TCM is more standardized. It's more pigeonholed, and they treat a lot of people in China very quickly. They don't take time with them. And in the Japanese style that I learned, there's different styles in Japan even, but the Japanese that I learned, it's more one-on-one where we do a lot of testing, different, like I do pulse testing on, and I check things, and I have an idea of which herbs to do, but then I do pulse testing, and then I'm talking to people. I want to make sure that I'm in contact with people. And I think, Roxene, you and I have discussed this before. I stay in contact with my patients to make sure that what they're doing is working out for them. And
how many doctors do that? Thank you. None. Doctors don't do that.
I think there might be
Rhonda calls me. I doubt it. You call. How's he doing? It's so amazingly. I think just this piece alone is even another huge effective piece of how this works. You care. You guys care. You can feel it. And it makes us feel better. I don't know. It's much more, we're going at it together kind of thing.
Right.
So she actually called us and is checking on us. And I'm just freaking out. I'm just so blessed.
Well, and the other thing too is, aren't we going to learn, Roxene? If we are a good doctor, in my opinion, we're learning from each case, right? And so
absolutely. My patients teach me a lot, and then I'm able to move that forward too.
What did I tell you in your case? So Junior had shingles and COVID, and he was in horrific pain. He came up, and we went outside the box and tried a few things that were a little bit different that I had not tried before. But I had, I had studied enough. I had looked at the research enough. I knew they had done these kinds of treatments before. So it wasn't like I was just doing something that was unknown, but it was something that was a little bit outside the box. And that's, I believe, what a good doctor is. That's
right.
Not taking risks that are scary, of course.
No.
But we're not ignoring, like, okay, we've got a really serious case. He even made me a little nervous. He walks in there and I'm like, oh crap.
Oh, I was in trouble. I was in so much trouble.
But
and the first thing I'm like, my back hurts so bad. My wife promised me she won't touch my back. Because she even says, we're going to the back, I'm out of there. The first thing we do is go right for the back. But it took that desperate, the riskiness you just spoke of, the unbelievableness of what I was going through took all of it takes that to counteract it. You got to go at it. You got to get super risky. You know what I mean? It takes more to counteract more.
Right.
You know, it was so aggressive. So you had to be aggressive. It was absolutely necessary.
Well,
and
I felt like,
right.
So
but we went slow.
Very slow.
I
was
talked
good.
to you about it. We were like, okay, is this working for you?
Yeah.
We didn't. So again, there wasn't really risk, but we didn't want you to hurt more.
Right.
So we were just trying to we were looking at this on an educated level based on how we do this medicine. And again, just like you said, Roxene, we do Western and Eastern. We're not throwing out the baby with the bathwater. We're going to do.
No, we use everything, right?
Yes.
Whatever it's going to take. If we have to refer out to get something done, we'll do that. But we like to try and do what we do best, which is the investigation. What is the best treatment and how do we go about it? What kind of tools can we get? I mean, wherever they have to come from. It's not just this little box. It's like, okay, here's shingles, here's your antiviral, good luck, see you later. Here's a topical, oh, it's not better yet? Okay, well, here's an antidepressant. Let's depress you so you don't feel anything. But then you can't heal because the energy that should be going to healing is going to the depression of the immune system aspect. So you've got to look at the whole picture. What is best? Where are the tools? What can you do? And if it's something outside of what you have, studied, investigate it. See if there's someone else who has that information. It's not just like, okay, here's your pill, here's that, see you later, heal yourself. No, it's an effort together. Just like you said, Junior, it's an effort together. Like Rhonda said, you work through this like Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson.
Absolutely.
Hello.
Absolutely.
Right. And then the other thing too okay, I forgot. Never mind. It left.
You'll remember, Rhonda.
It'll come back.
I mean, it's like people go like, oh.
We're all getting younger here, okay? That's just the way this works.
No,
never mind.
It's all that. Yeah, it's all that memorizing a Chicago phone book and spitting it out in a New York minute over and over and over for your boards, right?
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Yes, that's so serious. But hopefully we can come up with ways to help people. I think people do not understand at this level. They're so afraid because they're not getting the help they need. They're getting so much misinformation at this time that they don't even know where to look and how to go about it. I'm getting long haulers COVID, and I'm sure you are too.
Yep.
And these people have waited month or longer, and they are so sick by the time that they come in. Then we're just trying to undo the damage that's been done because they didn't get the help when they needed to. As soon as we could get ahead of it before it became a neurological problem, a mental problem, a panic problem. We have so much of that going on right now.
It's doing things to people's head. I'm telling you,
it does.
It's making me. They talk of the fog or whatever it is. It's this is scary shit. It has completely made me unbelievably irritable. I can't even imagine. I don't know. It's like the fog and everything's just goofy from since it's happened. I'm physically fine, but mentally, it's definitely.
I got a question about that because you mentioned like people taking their time and whatnot, and this disease, it's not just like cough and congestion, right? Like typically you're like, I'm sick, I need to go to a doctor, but sometimes there's no real symptom, and like you might just feel a little off. So you kind of prolong that thing. But at what point should you go and talk to a doctor like yourself?
Well, the way I look at it, and I don't, you can correct me if you feel like that you need to. We treat symptoms. We don't treat diseases. We're not allowed to treat a disease. So what we do is we treat symptoms. So if you have a cough or if you have a sinus problem, come in. Get in and we'll take care of it. If you have shingles, come in. If you have pain in your back, if you have, well, not shingles, so we just pain in your back, nerve pain, if your skin hurts, come in. If you've got nausea and diarrhea, come in. That's what we say to do. And the longer you wait, the way I look at this is, let's say you just have a sinus infection. Come in and get it taken care of, because maybe you don't have anything scary, but maybe just your immune system being dropped down is enough to allow, like you got shingles.
That's what somehow happened to me. I have no idea.
So if we would have got on top of it like day one, maybe we could have stopped it in its tracks and we would have never gone there. And that's what I'm seeing with my patients. People that come in for that stuffy nose or a little sore throat, and we get on top of it right away, they're fine in 4 days.
How about, maybe I'm jumping ahead here. What is there good, other than just normally good health and then just practicing good health, exercise, eating well, all these things, is there really good things we could take to help prevent?
Do you have a protocol, Roxene, or do you want me to go through mine?
Yeah, well, my protocol is based on the Taoist tradition of martial arts. And the first thing is to eat close to Mother Nature, as Mother Nature grew it as best you can. The second thing is to make sure you have restorative sleep. In other words, not Ambien, not Lunesta, not some decongestant NyQuil, but real restorative sleep. Figure out, and we can work with that, sleep to repair. And then, of course, you also need to make sure you're hydrated, that you breathe. A lot of people do not breathe. They're holding their breath because they're so freaked out about stuff. They can't move. They can't breathe. You've got to breathe. And, of course, I always relay to people that, well, there's a dude called Wim Hof, Mr. Wim Hof out of the Norsemen's there.
Yes.
He's got a technique. You can go there, learn to breathe.
That saved me from getting pneumonia in bed with this. I know it did. Because I was doing this because when you lay in bed with all this shit, then you get pneumonia. So I was doing that Wim Hof technique just to simply not have that happen. So anyway, I'm believing that.
And then
well, can you guys explain that for the people that don't know what Wim Hof is?
Oh, Wim Hof is a fellow. His first name is Wim. His last name is Hof.
Crazy.
He's crazy.
He's batshit crazy.
He's climbed Everest in his underwear.
But he's amazing.
He's badass. He was on Rogan.
But he's figured out, you guys, how you can be in charge. And that's what he's teaching you, how to be in charge of your body. You're the boss, right? We've given many decades of our health to somebody else called Big Pharma, the American Medical Association. Okay, they can do some good stuff. They cut and pasted my wrist and my knees and whatever. Okay, that's fine. But you got to realize you're in charge. You have to take responsibility. That's the problem. Nobody wants to take responsibility for anything. And so when you want help, it's basic. It totally is basic. But everybody goes, oh, I can't change. No. Think about the outcome as being more positive if you know how to breathe and you hydrate and you eat close to Mother Nature and you move. You don't have to do a triathlon, but God damn it, you got to move. That's what brings health, because the heart pumps it out, but it doesn't suck it back in. It's your muscles. Your muscles have to move, okay? And then you've got to be able to take it down a notch. Calm down. Calm your spirit. Relax. Zone out. Just, basically have a complete mental catharsis for a few minutes every day.
Yeah, whether that's meditation or any other form of...
Right. People go meditation. Oh, my God, I don't have time to meditate. Okay, you don't need to meditate, but you need a few minutes of a complete mental catharsis where you just zone out.
And do your breathing.
Go somewhere else. Yeah, and breathe. It can take 60 seconds.
Yep.
60 seconds is all you need every couple of hours. Stand up, stretch, take a breath, wiggle your butt, move, something, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
One of the
And of
things.
course, there's
Go ahead.
yeah, other things too, Rhonda, right? We know
Right.
adaptogenic herbs and stuff, right?
Right.
Go ahead.
Right. And so then the other thing that I really push right now is get as much sunshine as you can.
Yes.
Go out and
Yes.
get your skin in the sun, as long as you're not.
Yes.
And a little bit of cold isn't bad for you if you listen to Wim Hof. You know, it's not a bad idea. So
You can go way
He's
out
a
of
goddamn nut job.
yeah,
You gotta
but
look this
he's
dude up.
he's
Totally
amazing
not.
though. He's
He
amazing.
climbed Everest in his underwear
3 times.
with his
Yes.
breathing thing.
Yeah.
God, he's crazy.
I know, no oxygen, and you've seen Everest.
He's a
where the
badass.
wind is blowing, it's like Wyoming.
Oh yeah, dude.
So
That dude
Yes,
is
you
he's
know
awesome.
anyhow,
Like Wyoming.
so the light therapy is another one that can be really powerful for this. And I believe from everything that I've read and just looking at some of the research, it is critically important for people to be on vitamin D. Right now, that's
Yeah.
huge.
Vitamin D.
Vitamin D
Yep.
is big.
Yeah.
And because our food is depleted, we're not eating like our natural, like what we evolved with.
Right.
So we're not getting animals with all the skin fat. Like pigs, if they're raised out like wild pigs, they have a lot of vitamin D in their fat. And we don't get
Yep.
that from pork now. So you could get, we're not eating the amount of fish that our ancestors would have ate. So we definitely need to supplement. And then getting
Right.
minerals is critical right now, getting your vitamin C levels up.
So vitamin D, vitamin C.
Absolutely.
Zinc is a
Zinc.
pretty important one right now. If you're eating a lot of red meat, you don't need as much zinc. And you don't want to go over 30 micrograms a day. Have you heard any different than that?
No, I've heard that that's probably the maximum. Otherwise, you might lose your sense of taste and smell.
Well, also
I've
it
heard-
can
oh.
throw off your copper balance.
So
Right.
over the smell thing. That's
Exactly.
ridiculous.
Exactly.
So,
But the other thing, but Rhonda, when we're coming now into the what do you call it, nighttime, right? Where
Right.
there isn't a lot of light. And so people have a tendency, because of the light deficit, we get seasonal affective disorder. And so basically, and take this from NASA, up at the space station, they use red light therapy, far
Yes.
infrared, near infrared, whatever, because
Yes.
that actually helps the photons in the cells and their oxygen transport chain, which feeds your mitochondria, which gives you energy so that you don't feel like crap on a blue, dark day.
That's a
Right.
big part of your regimen.
Yes.
For me.
And also you can get some UVB therapy as well. It will change the melatonin color in your skin, and you can only do it for a few minutes and you have to wear glasses. But for people that have serious problems, that can be a benefit a few times a week. But it's got to be the UVB, and you need to have a medical grade. So you need to go to somebody that knows what the hell they're talking about. You don't just get it and do it.
Right.
You have to be.
What other
somebody-
kind of supplements are really, really handy for people to be doing right now?
I've heard chaga is really good. And then we do have some herbals that have, I was listening to one of our distributors, one of our main distributors for Chinese herbs that we get our Chinese herbs from. He had a great big podcast. I believe some of it might have been taken down because of the controversy. But all of the doctors in one of the key hospitals in the beginning of all of this, all of the practitioners that were taking jade windscreen, which is something that we have. And again, you wouldn't want to just take this on your own. Get a hold of a practitioner that knows what they're doing, because there may be variations within that jade windscreen. There's different kinds that might work better depending on the symptoms of each person. It's just like back to the herbals, you want to make sure that we're looking at all of the big picture. But that has been a very effective preventative. So that's something.
Absolutely. And a lot of times they actually double up on some of the ingredients to push the hidden pathogenic factor, if you will, out. Get it out of your body. And yeah, jade windscreen powder is one of those that they've been using even when SARS was coming about. Respiratory diseases, lung depression is what that is.
Yeah. And then another thing back to the emotional, the psycho-emotional. I'd like you to touch on that a little bit, Roxene, because like you were saying, Junior, and that's one of the things that maybe we need to get a few more treatments under our belt with you if you're up for that. Because I have seen miracles with emotional, psycho-emotional stuff with this. And I've had people come in with long COVID that are just destitute because they're having panic attacks, they're getting weird heartbeats, and they don't even know what to do. And they're, it's not like we're ignoring the medicines that they're giving, but we want to get this to stop, not to just mask it.
Yeah.
And so go ahead and touch on that, Roxene.
Right. I see a lot of psycho-emotional issues, especially more now where we're living in this unknown situation and we have a lot of fear and anxiety and trepidation and even depression because we don't know what's happening. All we know is things are being taken away from us and the normal is no longer normal. So what happens in you could say the organ system. In traditional medicine, every organ in your body is similar to the physiological functions in Western medicine. However, they also have an innate emotional aspect to them and a way that they work with each other or don't work with each other. So if you have like heart palpitations, it might be heart heat. And you have to look down the line to like something like frustration and irritability and the energy rising into your chest and into your head. Well, then you have to cool it and calm it. And there's ways with acupuncture and herbs that we do that. Or if you have a lot of fear, trepidation, you can't move forward, I don't know what to do next, I'm stuck. Well, that's like a kidney issue. That's fear. And the opposite of fear, when the kidney is working good, is willpower. I'm just going to do this shit. I can do this.
That's
no
so
worry.
Cool. That's
and then,
so cool.
then you get things where people are so worried and they're so anxious. Well, that's a gut issue, right? And that gut, that spleen, stomach issue is fed by the heart. The heart is the joy. And if the heart has no joy, the spleen, stomach is going to be totally out of whack and you're going to have panic attacks. And that's going to help, if you figure out how to calm that heat and you cool and you also nourish that spleen, stomach, then you have less opportunity for a lung impaction, aka respiratory disease situation, because when the lung is impacted from anxiety and worry and fear, guess what? That lung cannot expand and breathe and be uplifted. It becomes downtrodden. So you will find that people who have long-time pain, long-time chronic conditions, they are actually in an emotional turmoil. And guess what? That energy of those emotional turmoils will actually take away from the energy of your body to beat the shit out of whatever virus comes at you. So you really need to also pay attention to your emotional aspect along with your physical health. Right. There you go.
Right.
It's so cool. See, your doctor, if I just go to my doctor and speak, and we're not going to talk like this. None of that comes out. That God, the way that was all said, you can feel that, the attention, the care, the love, the want to help, right? It's just in what you just said. You can feel it. And the doctor, nothing against doctors, they're great, but it's more of just, like you say, it's a blanketed thing, and you can just feel it when you speak that it's you guys go at things very in a way to cure it, not to mask it.
To me, it feels like TCM has gone this way a little bit. Not that we cannot take TCM and make it an art. You can, but if you're like in China and the Western medicine, both have become more assembly line. It's more of a this you pigeonhole it. This is what we do. This is how we do it. But when it comes back to, like we were saying, it's very fascinating to me still to this day. Every time, even when I treated you, I still get blown away with every patient.
Mm-hmm.
I still get blown away with every patient. I got lucky enough to treat a 4-month-old yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Good.
And so the mom has gone to nursing, totally thinking Western, but didn't want to do the whole Western route. You know, he had a stuffy nose. He's been constipated. He comes in, he screams the whole treatment. Of course, it was very different. It's not like I stick needles in this child. We're not doing that. It's a training. It's a training that we have. Yeah, it's a training that we have to treat babies. And so I treat animals, we treat babies, you know, but the thing is a baby cried. We did the treatment. It's a very short, non-invasive treatment. Mom's watching the whole time. I'm teaching her some techniques too. The baby leaves my arms, chills out, just starts giggling. This dark circles under his eyes cleared up. He was just laughing and talking.
In that visit,
he went home. Mom says that's the first time he's been like that in days.
Damn.
That night, I called her today to find out how he was doing. She said he slept for the first time all night, had a really good poop. So it's amazing what just a few 15, 20-minute treatment can do for a baby.
That's
non-invasive. There was no invasive, any scary anything.
Yeah.
Even though he screamed the whole time.
Did you do Shonishin? Did you do
yes, I did Shonishin.
Or pediatric tweener? Yeah,
I did
that's the Japanese
Shonishin.
aspect.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. That's what you do.
So
every once in a while, though, you can do a little tiny.
There's also there is Hari techniques. There's Korean hand therapy. There's all kinds of therapies, and there's a lot of people out there that have been trained on a weekend, maybe who knows what their training is, and they're doing dry needling, they're doing trigger point, they're doing whatever, but they're using acupuncture, and in my opinion, they're bastardizing acupuncture.
They are.
And
they
so
absolutely are.
If you're going to go to a doctor, you want to find out what their training is. Is it accredited? Is it through the NCCAOM? Or did they just I had a chiropractor that out near where I'm at that had a certificate on his wall as a diplomat of acupuncture and oriental medicine, and he's a chiropractor, never went to a day of acupuncture training through an accredited school. Now, so he's treating people with acupuncture. He gets paid. I don't, by the insurance companies.
Right.
And I have a 5-year master's program, and I'm a doctor of Oriental medicine now. So people need to ask. And it doesn't matter to me whether I'm covered by insurance, because that I feel like that's going away. And I feel like what we need to do, back to what you said, this is critically important, that we take responsibility for our health, our finances. We have to stand up at this point. It will empower us. It will give us a direction. We might fall. We might screw up. And so we get up. We brush ourselves off. Like you said,
we get over
I'm
it.
in my 60s. You're in your 60s. We grew up in an era where things weren't handed to us, and it doesn't mean that we weren't spoiled. We were, to a point. We didn't live like our grandmas and grandpas, but we didn't have the distractions that have been going on for the last 20, 30 years. And so hopefully maybe everybody can get together and we can quit being so damn distriacted and say, you know what? We can be empowered. We can do things ourselves. Like we were talking about the herbs. Well, are we always going to be able to get herbs from China? I don't know. I don't think so. So how about if we all get together, and people that are drawing their money out of the bank and they want to invest it because they think it's not going to be worth anything. So I'm just thinking, don't know if this is an idea of it's worth anything or not. How about invest in a great big area where we have a bunch of greenhouses that can grow food in the winter with virtually no power?
Just not in goddamn Evanston where it's 100 below zero.
It's not. It's not right now. I mean, maybe we could do it in Utah. But the point is
no, it's real.
We can empower ourselves so people can take and invest in their communities. Come up with ways to grow food that we know doesn't have a bunch of shit on it. So I'm doing this.
Absolutely.
I have there's a guy. I think everybody should check this out. And I told you about it. It was pretty cool. Did you look at the video, Roxene?
Oh, absolutely. I was just like, oh my stars, I could probably do that down in the swamp that I own.
Yeah, so this guy is nearly 100 years old. He's a Nebraska retiree, grows oranges in the snow. Look that up and on YouTube. And he's got a greenhouse
Oranges
similar
in the
to ours, and he's growing oranges year round, and he's 100 years old now.
Damn.
And he's been doing this for 30 years. And he's
been working on these greenhouses and figuring this all out. It's just fantabulous what he's done.
So you can empower yourself with this medicine if you get a good practitioner that's been actually trained, and they're not going to say, well, you need to go have surgery. And that doesn't mean people won't have to go surgery. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
But that's the first place they go without even doing anything else. So
no.
You have to be your own advocate. You have to be strong and look at your doctor, your acupuncturist, and say, where did you get your training? And then talk to them. What is their belief system like? Is it like yours? Are they going to, because there's a lot of practitioners, they do community acupuncture where the acupuncturist might have been trained by the main acupuncturist and they don't have any actual really training and they're putting needles in people. Do you want to go somewhere like that? It could work, maybe fine. I don't know, but you're not going to get that one-on-one. Do you want to go to somebody else that has little training? You want to talk to somebody, find out if they fit your needs. Interview that doctor for a minute.
It's just like my tattooing. It spread, the information spreads a lot like that. I think the word of mouth for you people is just like the word of mouth for me. My tattooing, it's simply reputation. It's word of mouth. People are talking, and our business is on fire because of it.
Right.
That's how you guys, same thing. It's like talk to people, network, ask,
Right, and then invest in your own community.
Yeah.
Don't give our money away to the banksters. Is what
the banksters. I like
Don't
that.
be giving our money away to the banksters. That doesn't mean that there won't be some good banks that may not be connected with the big monsters, but let's start taking control of our lives. Let's start taking responsibility for where we're at. And
that by
what
itself
we're
will
doing.
increase your health. I guarantee it, because it makes you happy to do things like this and grow gardens and do your own. It makes you happy. That brings you joy. It brings you purpose.
Right.
All of these things, they raise your everything. They make you feel good.
Right. And they're saying Bitcoin's going to go through the roof or cryptos are going to go through the roof in the next little while. So maybe people are going to be starting to pull their money out of there and they want to reinvest it. Maybe get together in your community and find an area where you can do some greenhouses. I think that's pretty important right now. Come up with ways, come up with these solariums. It's a GAT system, GAHT, where you can help supplement your heat to your house. Everybody start thinking about, do I have a generator? You've worked disasters, Junior.
Yeah.
I've worked disasters. We know what it's like when you don't have power. Maybe people should start thinking, whether there's going to be any catastrophe or not. There's always going to be a catastrophe. It wouldn't be a bad idea to have a generator.
Not everybody, because like you guys that live completely off the grid, you guys, it's empowering. Have you heard her? Like, I don't know. The way you guys do that blows my mind out there.
It's not easy, poor Mike.
God,
they're working today.
Easy.
No nothing, no power, no nothing. You guys just make it happen out there. I think that's so cool. And
but you also have to understand, Junior, that you can do stuff in your own backyard. I have an off the grid yurt in my backyard, and I have a half an acre, and one of it is a 16 square foot, 100 square foot yurt that's solar powered with a self-composting toilet and a really big wood stove. Okay, so
you're thinking, it doesn't have to be a big deal.
Right.
And you can make a yurt. How easy can you make a yurt? You can make those very inexpensively.
Yeah, absolutely. There's companies, Colorado Yurt, the one up in British Columbia. They'll all make you a lovely little yurt, and you can create your own off-grid system, whether it's wind or solar. You can at least have a place to go, well, if stuff doesn't go the way you want it to go.
And I think this whole thing that's happening in our world right now is a lot of people are starting to ask questions and look different ways, and it's a great thing to bring all of this up and talk about all this stuff, because people are scared to death right now of everything.
Right.
And it's so it's so cool to hear that We can do stuff, man. People are powerful.
Absolutely.
How did the Indians make yurts before? Sweat lodges. I mean, that's basically what it is, right? How did they do it?
Nope.
So, we can think outside the box.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to be doing. And that's what's so fucking cool about Chinese medicine.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it because my head is so on fire most of the time. And I know it's because of the herbs and the treatments that we do. And I feel more energized in my 60s and more clear than I did in my 20s and 30s. I feel, it's not like I'm 20 or 30, but I cannot tell you that.
You're empowered. You're so empowered.
Exactly. And I think, I don't know if you feel this way, Roxene, but it's like right now I feel like we are in the right place at the right time because people need to know that they have options.
Yes.
And that
absolutely, Rhonda.
And because I've talked to so many people, they go to get help and they're told, well, there's nothing we can do for you, literally, or they'll give them some albuterol, and that's it.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly it. They want to sedate you. They figure you're sedated. You can't feel anything, and you just walk around with this fog in your head instead of figuring out how to re-energize yourself from an emotional aspect, a physical aspect, and being able to have your environment that you create around you without vampires sucking off your energy because you don't allow that to come into you. They stay over there on their side, suck all the energy off of someone else, but have your own energy for yourself and move forward and be basically more energetic all the time than being tired and worried all the time and fretting all the time. I've got 20-year-olds that come in and they have no spark. In other words, my little Jewish grandmother would say, "Oh, baby, you need some chutzpah. Where's your chutzpah?" They don't have any. They have no chutzpah. And it's like, oh my gosh, go to Caesar's Palace, play the, whatever the guy. Anyway, but the thing of it is that they don't find any hope. They don't find any reason to be. Their parents are not finding anything to help themselves. And so it's kind of like dominoing all the way through the family, through the community. It's got to stop. You got to be able to, like I said, and Rhonda said, take responsibility, do something, empower yourself, research, start small, figure out what you need in your health and what you need around you in your environment. Create that. That's what Rhonda and Mike have done. We all can do that too.
So have you.
And what a good time! What a good time to do it. We've all been kicked right in the ass. Like, this has changed the world. And
it has.
It's so big change. Big change for everybody. Let's just start over and
we can
and start looking.
Have the power.
Yeah.
Even if China can't get us the herbs, okay. So let's figure out how to do greenhouses. Maybe people can grow some. We can get together and we can get people. Okay, I'm going to have 5 great big pots in my living room with a grow light. Yeah. And I'm going to grow X herb. And then this other person is going to grow Y herb. And then another, you know what I mean? We just have to think like our ancestors did, where they counted on their community working together. Right. And but we have different ways of thinking. I think Chinese medicine, our training did that for us. Maybe we were like that in a way first. I don't know.
I don't know how that stuff is very powerful. It's crazy.
I spent decades. I had more time in the air than I had on the ground for several decades. I was in the sky more time.
Yeah, you're a pilot?
I'm a retired airline captain. But it's like the aspect of it is.
How big are you? She weighs like 40 pounds. No, I'm sorry.
Who did you fly for? Like a big.
Powers in small boxes.
Like a Delta, like a Southwest. You were like that kind of a pilot, like a big airline pilot.
I was a big heavy metal person. I was an aluminum tube manager. But it's like the aspect of whatever you want to do, you have to figure out how to get the energy for it, but you also have to make a step in that direction, because your iPad's not going to do it for you. Your cell phone's not going to build that for you. Your computer, your Wi-Fi is not going to build something for you, your health or anything. You have to do that yourself. But with this kind of medicine, you can have that capability to take care of what needs to take care of and create a better environment in your emotional and physical prowess. Seriously, Mother Nature provides a lot of this for you already, and we've ignored that for so many hundreds of years. Now, guess what? We've got to, claw back our way to Mother Nature and the nature within ourselves. And that's what this medicine is. It looks at the environment in you and the environment around you. We talk about things like you have damp heat, you have wind dryness, your blood is dry, your stomach is full of damp, your chi is like stagnant. This is what we talk about. We talk about weather, and that's what it is, right, Rhonda?
That's so crazy. It's so powerful, man. It so works. I cannot believe how powerful this stuff is.
Yeah, but it's more the I Ching. It's more of a lifestyle. This is more.
Yeah.
And, when we're on our game, we're doing Qigong, Tai Chi, meditation. We're in that space. That's what the Japanese style taught me. The TCM didn't really get into that as much for me. I don't know about you, Roxene. But the Japanese style got more into the emotional aspect of it. And because like you were saying, you're just so angry right now, maybe you need something to help you get out of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe you need, whether it's us or something, it doesn't matter how you get there. Just try to figure out a way to get past it so that it doesn't consume you.
Yeah.
Those are the things. Depression, we're all going to be facing this. We're going to have, in this next year, I think, regardless of how this goes down, shit's going to go down. We all know it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so if we're not on our game every day and we get consumed by something, and this is the whole thing with the COVID that's bad, if you get altered, which I'm seeing it, it's not like it's your fault. You can't control it. You get altered. It alters people. Mm-hmm. So we need to get the help that we can. And I'm seeing that the Chinese medicine is working. Are you seeing it's working for you too with your patients?
Yeah, with my patients, I have a lot of long COVID individuals. I have people who have been injected that go, this never happened until this was injected in my body. And so now we have to work with those symptoms. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so you have to be careful. Everybody responds differently. And the main thing everyone needs to do when they're faced with, well, do I get injected? Do I not? And I don't like to go on that subject, but you have to ask your body, will I like this in my body? Will this body be injected with something that it will be able to use, or will it be detrimental? You have to have that conversation. And this is where understanding, right?
I think you can feel that immediately. You can answer that question for yourself but nobody listens to it.
But not everybody is seeing that.
Just feel it. Just be, now if you're wondering, don't do it. Just don't. If you can already, if you feel it, think you can feel it.
There are people that they don't even question it. They go
just
and
listen. They listen.
Yeah, they listen, and that's okay if they do, because. And I was very frustrated with how do we help people to figure out what's good for them and what's not good for them. So what we need to do is help people where they're at, and that is something that I need to go to Roxene and get some treatments for. With my psycho-emotional stuff.
I'll be headed that way too. Jesus.
So, because it's it's because we need to help people where they're at, whatever that is.
Exactly.
Because I am seeing people that, they're injured, whatever the case is. I don't know exactly, but they've got some very serious symptoms a few months out. So they've got swollen joints, a lot of pain, just like when you got COVID. Mm-hmm. They've got a lot of, they have a lot of those symptoms. And so what we do, again, is we treat those symptoms. They walk out and they feel amazing. Yeah. So that's what we need to do, is go back to, okay, let's treat symptoms. Let's help people through that. Yep. Because when this first all came about, I was so frustrated. And I had a patient come in, very wise man. He says, just treat the symptoms. I went, oh, that's right.
Oh, God, that's simple. Why didn't I think of that?
And I went, oh, yeah, that's right. Quit getting my
yeah.
head in there.
Exactly.
How,
Exactly.
how is it
You
you
know,
guys?
and
How is it you guys have kept from getting this while you treat all of these people that are?
You know, I think we're just in that zone.
It's amazing to
Well,
me.
and knock on wood, because we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know what the future holds for us. We have no idea.
I have no idea.
You've fought it for a long time.
Nope.
And that doesn't mean
Yeah.
that we haven't had it.
It grabbed me.
We don't
Wow.
know.
Yeah, we don't.
We don't know.
We may have had it. We don't know.
Yeah.
But we're taking our supplements, right?
Yep.
And
right.
so
we're breathing.
doing.
We're
Yeah,
hydrating. We're moving. We're like finding joy. Yeah. Right.
and we're having hope. And I think that's a
Yeah.
huge one right now. Brainstorming, like what we're talking about, I get so stoked and excited
Yeah.
because I feel like it gives us an opportunity to have hope and
To help and hope.
and we can think. I mean, it doesn't mean that you have to follow the whole doing the greenhouses. You don't have to do that.
No.
Just if you, I mean, it's like you, Junior. Look at how innovative you are. Look at what you've done with your business and your life. Look at where you
Yeah.
came from and where you're at today.
Yep.
You did that through innovation and you got that spark of innovation,
Yeah.
right? So we just have to think outside the box. It's not the comfort zone we wanted, but you think our ancestors had it easy? They had to go across the prairie and half of them died and their babies died and they didn't have any water or food. And so we just got to figure out what is it, because we have the information. We're lucky enough that we have information so we can figure it out. We just have to think outside the box and not be pigeonholed. Just, okay, so we have another problem. Let's figure that out. And maybe I'm not going to be good at that problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Find
Maybe-
someone who is.
Yeah, because I have a ton of aphids in my greenhouse, but they are edible. So you can get some protein.
Yes, eat them. They're protein. The green ones are very good for your liver.
Oh, are they?
Yes. You know how the liver likes green things. Are they a little
That's
sour?
right,
That's
I
going to be
forgot.
fabulous.
You guys are so full of all that. How do you know all of this stuff? It freaks me out a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, so delicious. Put a little mayo on it. Okay.
God.
It's always fun when they pop in your mouth.
Yes, they make that little crunch. Okay. Well, have you guys ever had crickets? Crickets are delicious.
Oh, dear
I have
God.
Not. I have not. I would in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dried up, just to grab a
Oh,
cricket.
yeah, I would. I'd go for it.
Yeah.
You betcha. You
You know,
betcha.
they're very cheap.
You eating a cricket?
And they have
Dre?
really good protein in
Yeah.
it. And they don't have a good, they have less carbon footprint than a cow.
Okay, next show we're
Oh, I
eating
don't
we're eating
know.
a cricket.
I want to try the chocolate covered crickets. That's what I want to try.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Did you know, though, Roxene, vegetables are carnivores? Did you know that?
Oh, absolutely. Everything is.
You understand that, right?
Vegetables are carnivores.
Yes. Because you have to use bone meal and blood meal to raise them. So they're
a way.
eating animals.
That's interesting.
Well,
Oh, how about we didn't
Okay.
touch on bone broth.
Oh, bone broth. Yes, 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 yes,
Yo,
yes.
I really, I was going to bring this up earlier. I think that saved my life. I really, really do. I couldn't, that needs to be spoke of. I think that stuff is incredibly powerful.
Again, we need to clarify. You don't go to the grocery store and just pick any bone
No.
broth. And you don't get
uh-uh.
just powdered bone broth. You get a bone
No.
broth that is grass-fed, grass-finished, or pastured. No hormones, no antibiotics. Those animals are treated because you're getting their energy. Back to this is energetic medicine.
That stuff
You
was
are
awesome.
getting their energy. If that animal is mistreated, if they're put in feedlots, if they're given chemicals, that is going to be
Industrialization.
amplified when they cook that animal down and you get the bone broth. But if you get an animal that's treated in a kind way that's nourishing to that
So how do
animal,
we find it? How do you go to like Great Harvest type stuff?
you can get it at the grocery store. You can order it online, but you just need to make
Online.
sure that you can get them at the grocery store. They have them at Smith's. They
Do
have
Do they?
it at
The
Smith's. Yeah.
organic? Okay.
so
yeah, they do.
organic.
Okay.
We're looking
It
for
doesn't.
organic.
It needs to more than anything say pasture raised. no antibiotics, hormones.
That stuff is so.
Right.
I think it's really, really.
And then sea
incredible.
salt. People don't realize the sea salt is going to replace your minerals. When people are sick like this, they don't taste, so they don't put the sea salt in there, and the sea salt is going to get you your minerals back.
I think that's what she was
Trace
mixing in it,
minerals.
stirring it up.
Yeah.
I would drink it.
And then
But you have to,
Go ahead.
But Rhonda, you have to be careful because it's not really bone broth. It's bone marrow broth.
yes,
The idea of it is that you're after the cartilage, the ligament, and the marrow.
yes,
And the way you do that, if you get like a bone itself, you want it to be like what you used to get for dogs, right? But that's really very important, and that it's organic and pasture raised. But when you create your own bone marrow broth, you actually simmer it with a little bit of vinegar because that breaks down
Yes.
the collagen into the amino acids that are very helpful for restoring your gut.
and you
and
don't
that's
want to go over
part of
12
the-
hours
Yeah.
is what
just
because
simmer
of your
Yeah.
gut.
I'm very grateful I couldn't taste it because I don't know how it tastes, but
It's not bad, is it? It's not bad at
I
all.
think it
Roxene, is it?
sustained my
No,
life
it's-
because I
it's
wouldn't eat
delicious.
anything. I couldn't eat.
But no,
Yeah.
So
because
that was,
you'd
that
use
was
that-
saving me.
And then
right,
I
you would use that
recommend
broth and add vegetables
yes,
to it.
I recommend
Yeah.
that. And if people can't cook, because one of the big things that I would like to see people when they're sick and recovering is to have somebody take care of them. That is critical. If they can find a neighbor or a loved one that can check on them and make sure that they're taking their supplements and their herbs and
Yeah.
getting their bone broth, that's critical because you're so sick you can't think straight. And so it's important for people to get that kind of help, to get them the bone broth, get them their salt, get them their electrolytes, get them what they need, and make sure that they're taking it so that they can recover. And if they're not setting well with a certain herb, contact your doctor. Because then we
Yeah,
can work
it's
through
different.
it. You know, we don't know
Yeah.
for sure if you, like I said with Mike, the doctor kind of laughed at us when I said, he's not doing well with this. And he's like, nobody ever
Yeah,
gets
well,
sick
you know
with
what,
this.
Rhonda?
Yeah,
You know what, Rhonda? He was Chinese.
I know.
Okay.
I know
and we're
it.
we're Caucasian.
I know.
And you
I
have
know.
to know that when it's a Chinese physician of any kind, they're the best in the world, and they don't take any guff from anybody, and they know everything. And
I know.
unfortunately, you got to get past that because when you ask a question, they'll go, "Well, that'll cost you more money if you want the answer." And it's like, "Oh, seriously?" And they
Yeah.
go, "Well, what do Caucasians know?" I go, "Well, I'm trying to learn from you, Mr. Chinese." It's like,
Zero
oh my
sense of
God.
humor. Like, no, you can't.
That's
But
why.
yeah, and then I do recommend also, I have been recommending it. I don't know what you think about this. If people can't cook or they don't have somebody that is there to cook for them, pick up some baby food that's organic. Because then you
Yep.
know it's clean and it's simple. They open a jar, they eat some vegetables, some whatever they want, carrots, sweet potatoes, squash, and then white rice and make some congee.
Yep.
That's just like a rice soup. It's not a big deal. Just something really easy in your broth.
It was so hard for me to eat I couldn't eat anything in that. So bone broth
Yeah.
that sustained my life.
Yeah.
I think I lost like 20. I lost a lot of weight, man.
Yeah.
It was so scary, but I think that bone broth, it helped me go through it.
Yeah. So can I talk
very
about
important.
a case study real quick? Or you guys, is it okay?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So Dave
Yeah.
Herrera, who
He
you've
was on
done a
our show.
podcast,
Yeah.
he is just a animal. He
God,
is
he's a badass.
amazing.
You remember him?
He's
35th in the world bodybuilder monster.
yeah, he's
a badass.
amazing. He is
Dude's-
just
he's cool.
he's training people now all over the world. Just so you know, you may want to get a hold of Dave Herrera at some point.
Yeah.
Anyhow, he.
You know what? That's where when you were talking about getting the light, that's what he was telling us, right?
Yeah,
About
he was.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the glasses and all
yeah,
that.
you
He
want
was
the
saying,
yellow glasses.
Yeah, dude.
Yep,
That dude's
absolutely.
smart.
Yeah, he's wicked smart in the chemistry
He's
aspect of it.
Brutal tough.
And
oh my
he's
God, he's tough.
he contracted Epstein-Barr during this whole thing.
Which is for people that
It's mononucleosis, the kissing disease. When people get it, they're down and out for sometimes the rest of their life, usually months.
long time.
Yeah, a long time. So he contracted it. He was messed up bad. And you know this guy is an animal. You
Oh,
don't.
yeah. He's a beast.
You.
That's how I am ish, but not like on his scale.
Yeah, he's just.
Mentally, I'm
he's-
that way.
Any rate, he came down with it. He came in. We came up with a treatment protocol. He did do some things on his own because he's proactive. Again, we're working together. But he did a lot of the treatment protocols that I carry on in my office. And in a week, he said he was significantly improved. He continued treatment for 5 weeks until he got his test, and he's just soaring. He's doing great now.
And it tests negative.
He's testing good now. So he's back into his training. And we saw him the other day, and he's old Dave, and he came in, he was wiped. That poor dude, he was wiped.
God, that's scary.
So that's another case that he came in with full-blown Epstein-Barr. They weren't going to do anything for him. And he did this stuff himself. He was diagnosed by Western medicine. I didn't do that diagnosis. He came to me wanting to do natural medicine, and he got through it.
I'm telling you, it is.
Well, he did
so
do a
good.
couple of things on his own, but just so it's
Even
not,
at that though. Look at it. He whooped it.
I know.
Same thing with what I went
I
through.
know.
Shingles and COVID, same
Yeah, I
time.
know. And
We
you
whooped it in a week.
I know. I couldn't believe it. The next day you're back, the shingles was already clearing up.
Yep.
I could not believe how fast that was
Whooped
going.
it. I think it was
know.
like 5 days or so, 6. I don't even remember. It was all. It's a blur, but it wasn't very long.
Right.
And
right.
then either one of them can wipe you out.
Right.
And we
Right.
just whooped it, man. It was. This is so
Dave,
good.
So
Good
with,
stuff.
that we're clear about this. He was coming in every other day for treatment.
Yeah.
So he did that for that first week, which was 5 days, right? So he came in every other day, and then he continued to come in pretty much for a while every other day. And we continued treatment for 5 weeks, but and he continued with other stuff too, but he continued with that progression. So people understand this isn't a one-time fix.
Like the doctor. No.
Right. You don't go in and get your medicine and you're done. Do you have anything else to say about any case studies?
Well, yeah, I get people that come in just after they've been to the ER. Okay. They've been to the ER. They've gotten some drugs. The drugs have had a side effect to the point where they can't even walk. In other words, they have been allergic to something that they didn't know they were allergic to. And one woman comes into my clinic and she cannot be touched. She cannot walk. She's vomiting. It's like I follow her wherever she goes with the little, what I call puke bucket, right? And then we finally get her calmed down a little bit, and I can touch her. I can do a little bit of Twina, which is a medical massage. I put just a very few needles in, and we get her to where she can at least lay down. And then an aspect of a little bit of I use a lot of martial art liniments, right? There's a lot of liniments that are awesome, herb infused.
Absolutely
do a little bit of
amazing.
that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And a little bit of cupping, and you know what? She walked out of there. And she
Damn.
finished. She wasn't nauseous anymore. She walked out. She comes back the next day, and she goes, "Look at me. I can stand up. This is so amazing." Because we had to get rid of that aspect of the side effects of the medications that she was been given. And so I see that quite a lot. I see people that come in and they've got like 12 different Western medications, and they go, "I feel so horrible." And I go, "Well, when you look at this, have you read the patient paper that comes with those, not the one that you get from the
Informed
pharmacist?"
consent.
Right. Yes, exactly. And you read that stuff, and it's like, oh my stars, I had no idea. Well, guess what? You pile those on, and your body doesn't know what to do with all that stuff. So you actually have to back away from those things so that you can heal. And I'm not saying that you have to stop immediately blood pressure medications, heart medications, all those things that most people are on. No. Change a little bit of your lifestyle and let us help you. And then you can definitely walk away from those. You don't need those types of things when you know your body is totally capable if you give it the right stuff. Again, the right stuff, whatever.
100%. I'm living proof of this.
I have a gentleman that came in that had been given the jab, and he was he ended up almost dying. He ended up with blood clots, kidney problems. His blood sugar was out the roof. He couldn't walk. He was in serious pain. And the doctor told him that he was going to pass away because there was nothing else they could
From
do
the
for him.
vaccine? No.
The jab.
The jab. Sorry.
We call
They'll
it a
take you
jab.
off
We're
the-
not talking
They'll
about
take you
that.
off the air.
The jab.
Yeah, we got to
We're
be
not
really
talking about-
careful about this. 'Cause
We'll
I've
edit
seen
it.
people take.
We'll cut it
the
out.
air. Yeah, I'd definitely say jab. So anyhow, I was blown away. I was blown away because he was very limited on his budget. So all we did was just a simple, straightforward treatment, and he left and he came back in a week because that's all he could afford. And he said he had the most relief of any time. We did just a few treatments on him, and he was doing really well. He didn't come back for a couple of months. I was hoping he was okay, and he just came back the other day. And he said he's starting.
Alive.
Yeah, but he fell, so he was in a lot of pain. But after he got up, he was. So even I have been shocked with how far just the acupuncture alone, what it can do. I mean, I'm really surprised. Like you said, Roxene, you did a few needles, you did a little bit of tween on. You didn't do anything serious. And that
No,
woman,
but you know what you're doing.
Right.
You understand the body because you actually have an energetic aspect to it. You know, we are all energetic, and they're realizing it now. We are basically a negative and positive ionization aspect. I love chemistry, and that's what we are. But we're also part of nature's chemistry, right, Rhonda?
Right. And we all have a frequency. And if we're paying attention, we're going to be able to work with your frequency, hence the pulse readings, right?
Yep.
That's the pulse, right?
Yeah, how do we tap into that? And again, we're not saying Western medicine doesn't have its place. Of course it does.
Absolutely.
Of course it does. But is it pigeonhole? Is this an assembly line? People are not assembly line. They're all unique. And so, yes, I'm going to give everybody maybe something that is going to be antiviral herbs that have been tested recently, and they're antiviral herbs through this time. But that doesn't mean that's where we're going to stick. We're going to probably go, okay, so like you said, we've got kidney deficiency. We need something to help that. Maybe their adrenals are tapped out. Maybe they're having diabetic problems. So we have to address all of those little things. And that doesn't mean, and maybe we add just one herb in there. Maybe we just give them some bone broth. It could be that simple.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be a big deal. Of course, sometimes I throw the kitchen sink at them. I have to stop and step back and say, stop.
I want an instant response.
We're human. For sure, we're human.
It's so incredible. The work is so cool. Me and the wife are both living proof of its effects. It's very it works, and you're really channeling the body to do things for itself, right?
Right.
Acupuncture's opening up. It's letting you heal you.
Roxene
exactly.
said it. Yes, we're tapping into, and it feels like to me we're triggering the stem cells, the DNA, these are all the trigger things right now that everybody's talking about. That's what we're triggering. And I've seen with some of our simple treatments, not the regenerative medicine is bad. It's an excellent tool, and it can take you places like you can't even begin to imagine. But you can also get that with Asian medicine, with Japanese medicine, with meditation. You can get a lot of these things. You just have to be self-involved more. And I think Roxene does the same thing. I try to teach people, that, to give you options of, okay, you can do this and you can arrive at point B a lot faster, and you may not need me that much longer.
People they just want to go take the drug and be okay.
Right. We all do. We
get
involved
involved
that way.
with it, and it works if you're involved with the healing part of it.
Right, but it's still.
But don't you want to be in charge?
Absolutely.
Don't you want to be one in charge of yourself, of your body. Aren't you the boss of it? I mean, seriously, if you know what tools you have capability of, everybody who leaves my clinic has homework, okay? It's not the kind of homework you think of, but it's homework, and you must do those things, because if it's a tool, it's not going to help you unless you use it.
Right. And it's involved. You're very involved in the healing part of it. And like you said, having somebody help you, my wife, I would have died. I guarantee you I would have died. There's no way. She was right there from the start to the ending. And
it really is important to have some support.
Very affectionate toward me and helping me and caring and not hiding from me and wearing a suit and mask and trying to isolate. She was right there with me.
And it's just hilarious. I'm sorry.
God, that was so... I forgot. That's just so important. That in itself, that little piece was so powerful to know that she was there.
And even if people don't have a partner, ask a neighbor, ask somebody. Please ask for help, because this is serious stuff.
Oh
you know,
it's bad.
And it's like
bad.
when people have not been sick, they're like, this is just bullshit.
Don't blow it off.
And once they're sick and they've waited a week, and then they're like going, oh shit. Once they hit that wall, then they are getting the secondary infections, and that's when we're getting the really bad stuff. But if you can get on, like I said, you have a sore throat, you have a cough, you have an earache, come in.
Get in there.
Don't wait. Don't wait 2 days. Yep. Just get your butt in there, get on your supplements, and then we can talk about a program and people kind of look at me like I'm overreacting, but I'm not, because you're sick for a couple of days and you have some support. Wouldn't that be better than being and overreacting than waiting till day 8?
Oh yeah.
And your oxygen levels at 81.
Yep.
And
oh God.
Now you're in big trouble.
Yeah. And what was really fascinating to me was I had a doctor send his son to me 10 days in.
Whoa.
Oh, great.
And I'm like,
fix me.
10 days.
10 days in. And I'm looking at the guy.
I'd have been dead. With what I went through, I would have died for sure.
His oxygen was 81. He was gray. And I looked at Mike, and he looked at me, and we're like, oh,
81,
shit.
Scary. That's scary.
I'm like, and he got on oxygen, but he was recovered in 4 days.
With this practice?
Yes, 4 days he recovered. I was blown away. I was like, what?
I did it again.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. You did. You're amazing, man. You're awesome.
But thank goodness.
The pair, the working together, the way you work with people is great.
Right. Well, and not everybody has recovered like that.
Sure.
We know that.
Sure.
But it was just mind blowing.
Oh, absolutely.
To me. So I'm like, okay, well, there you go. But maybe that doctor now can see the value of somebody that's trained in herbs, because the problem that I'm seeing, and I don't know if you're running into this, there are so many people that say they're herbalist, and yes, they may have some training, but anybody can go online and read anything. And yes, there's some really good things on there, and I don't think you should ignore it. You should get educated, but remember that you do have a limited amount of information. There's oils out there, and they're telling everybody, use all these oils for this, that, and the other, but they don't tell you the side effects. They don't tell you when it's too much. They don't tell you. I've had people that have used oils come into me that ended up with thrush, losing their hair.
Yes.
Oh God.
Yes.
Because they used the oils because they were not trained how to do it properly, because the oils are 70, 80 times as strong as the herb.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just throwing them in everything.
Tincture.
So people using oils, they have been very beneficial, and that's good that people are getting empowered like we're talking about. But please do be careful. Talk to a board certified herbalist. I am the only board certified herbalist in all of Southwest Wyoming.
Are you really?
Yes.
Way to go, Rhonda.
Damn, girl.
There is, and we're board certified here, but there are a lot of people selling herbs that, they may have a decent education, but what kind of education?
Right.
Where did, and that doesn't mean that they don't have some good stuff. But then another thing that we're taught, and I think you're the same way, everything that we've talked about, Roxene, is that quality. Where did that herb come from?
Yeah.
Not just like take this herb. Where did it come from?
Right.
What is
Right.
the
The
who's the
origin.
manufacturer?
Mm-hmm.
And that comes back to the energy of the herbs. And one of the things I was taught in one of my classes is feel the energy of the herb. Or is the person doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you actually have to taste the herb and tell them what it was, Rhonda, when you did your herbology?
No, I didn't have to do that. We did have to pick them and place them with. They didn't make us do that. I think they were afraid of people being allergic to them. They were pretty paranoid about that kind of stuff.
It's crazy how powerful they are. God, it's so crazy.
But they are. But at the same time, you
Effective.
also have to know interactions with Western medications, right?
Right.
There are interactions with Western medications. You're not going to give someone Dongwei who's on blood thinners.
Right.
Right.
Right. And we have some herbs that are more powerful than any anticoagulant in the world.
And this
Did you
is
know
where
that, Roxene?
this is where you seek a board
Absolutely.
certified
I do.
herbalist.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Exactly.
You could be in trouble.
Absolutely.
I did have a question.
You got to be that.
So I watch a show on Netflix. It's called You. I don't know if you guys heard about it.
Yep. I've heard of it.
But there's one of these scenes. I won't spoil anything for anybody, but one of these scenes, the wife she plants something. She plants a plant, right? And she ends up grinding up this plant into a liquid form and injecting it in somebody. Not injecting it. She cooked with it, and the person that ate it ended up being paralyzed. Is that real? Like, is there herbs out there that can really paralyze a person?
Yes. There are.
Yeah, that's
yes.
Sarah.
But we're not going to be getting into those realms. But we do. I
Because-
do have the one herb that I'm telling you about that is the strongest anticoagulant. So if I gave that irrationally to somebody, I could kill him because they would bleed out.
Right. Again, it's
Isn't that
dosage.
crazy?
It's
It's an herb.
dose.
It's an herb.
It's dosage, though.
Yeah.
Yes, it's dosage.
This stuff is so crazy.
So yeah, it's we got to be really careful about what we're doing. Back to Mike, and that was the best lesson I could have ever gotten. He was an arrogant guy. He was a wonderful guy. Don't get me wrong. He was very passionate. He was a wonderful man. But we also have to look at when we were being trained. I don't know if you went through this with Roxene, but when we were being trained, the doctors that came from China that was training us, it's very competitive in China. It's like sink or swim. They're going to die because their lives are so bad in China. They have to compete for everything. So they come here with that competitive attitude. You know what I mean? And I get it. I understand where
I
that
get
comes
it.
from.
I did too. I got it. Absolutely. You just knew where to tread.
Right. But because of that experience, I learned so much. Like, okay, I know I can throw a lot of herbs at people, but if we start seeing some bad signs, maybe we need to back down. That's why I try to keep in touch with people. What are you doing? How's it going? Blah, blah, blah. Is that diarrhea okay? Or is it maybe not so good? Where is that level? It's okay to have a little bit of loose stool when you're trying to purge something. But where is that level of, oh, that's not good anymore? You're weak. We're not getting what we need to anymore. You know what?
That's what happened to me at the end of the herb thing. Remember, I told you that. It was like unbelievable. My body was like over it. It was finally, I was purged of everything in some weird way. And you're like, stop herbs immediately. And I felt fucking incredible.
Exactly.
It was so bizarre. It like for however many days, it was just lots and lots and lots of herbs, drinking them.
Right.
And
it's not
I
one or
wasn't
two
sick.
herbs.
I wasn't
It's not a
sick at
pill.
all. I never got sick. I never, stomach wise. And toward the end of it, it was like, okay, body's ready to get rid of all this. And it did. And it was just bizarre how it works. It's very powerful.
Right. But
And
if
you
we
knew,
would have
you're like,
continued,
listen, it's time to stop. And I stopped and everything was calm. It was so weird. Because there was anti-nausea ones that keep you from, it's just, the medicine, that stuff is so cool. I believe in it. You ought to see our cabinet full of stuff. It's great. It works so well.
Seeing what Erica has learned through this whole process, like, I'm not surprised that you about all this.
She's helped a lot of people just with her helping us.
Yeah.
And telling her she's helped. Like,
it's beautiful.
Just little stuff, little things.
One thing I did want to say, you told me to give you the hour and a half kind of wrap up. So
Yeah.
it is an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, because I got a long ways to go.
There's so much more for sure, but
Yeah.
it's like, this is like just you could say a teaser, but not really. We want this to be valid information so that people can search others out that can help them. But you also really have to, like Rhonda said, you've got to ask about their credentials. What is their education like? What is their experience here? Because you've got medical doctors that take 200 hours of training and all of a sudden they're a medical acupuncturist. You've got people in physical therapy that take 40 hours of training and they're sticking needles in people's necks. And it's like, excuse me here. And we have to be very concerned with the level of training for the safety. And herbalism is not just like take a bunch of herbs and be well. No, there is actually ways to formulate for that individual.
Absolutely.
As Rhonda said, we've got to change it if it's not working or it's stopped working in the way we want it. And this is how you've got to be advised that herbalism is not take a little, take a lot. Has nothing to do with that aspect. So be very careful. Know who's working on you, right? Because it can be very effective or it can be not very effective.
Right. And we need to be self-empowered, like we said. So people need to just question, just ask. Yep. I just ask.
We got two of you right here on this air right now. These are the two people you can go to and trust with your life, and they will help you. That's as easy as I can make it sound. I mean, don't look. You don't have to search. We have two of them right here.
Thank you, Jay.
I swear to God,
you,
it is amazing stuff, man. And you've saved me for sure.
Well, I hope so. I hope we've helped, because our education is not cheap.
I was in trouble. I was in trouble.
No, it's not cheap.
It's not like you
5 years of medical school.
Yeah. In fact, I had a student that I was going to school with, and her boyfriend, who she was living with at the time, her education in Chinese medicine it cost more than his medical education.
Damn.
His residency. So just people know, this is not like you go get a weekend or you do a 6-month program. No.
You can hear it.
No.
You can feel it.
No.
Like you're very knowledgeable.
Yeah, and people, I just wish we could explain it better, but it's like, I would love for people to be able to, like we've talked about, maybe apprentices. You can't even do that without people getting that background. They've got to get the background. We would have to shut down our practice and train somebody for 5 years, and then they would still be missing, because when we got our education, we had lots and lots of different doctors training us.
Oh,
from
God, yes. And I had
medical, Western, Chinese, Qigong, Tai Chi.
What happens when you're gone?
There's others
then
that
what?
will take my place.
Oh my God.
There will be others that might even be better.
I doubt it.
I hope we're all getting better all the time, right?
Yeah, yes.
Right, absolutely.
Yes.
You teach people how to tattoo. You want them to be better, right?
Yeah.
Then what, you've got a gift.
You just got to tell us who you're training so we know who to get a hold of.
Okay. Well, thanks, guys.
Can I ask one last question?
So much, you guys.
Yes.
Well, I just got one last question. One thing that really stuck out to me that kind of scared me a little bit was the fact that you are getting medicine imported, right?
Yes.
And what happens if those ports shut down? And can we grow? I mean, you kind of answered it already. We can grow whatever they grow in China over here or Japan.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes, we
have a
we
greenhouse.
need somebody to step up to the plate. We've got to get our heads together and find somebody that will help us get some greenhouses. We've got to.
It's very expensive. Right?
Really, no.
I
don't think it's too bad.
It's not? Okay.
It really isn't as bad as you think it is going to be.
To get it growing.
Right. I mean, it's going to be a cost, but for what we have, like I've been looking at some Siberian herbs. Okay, Wyoming. Siberia, Wyoming.
Yes.
Identical.
I think it's pretty
cold.
So there you go.
Accommodating.
And windy.
But I don't have the money because I keep investing in herbs because I got so many people coming in.
God,
So it's like,
yeah.
it's just like, oh my gosh. And again, we're not limiting ourselves to only Chinese medicine or Chinese herbs, or we
You've got
are
Western herbalism.
we're looking at all as
local herbalism.
whatever we can. We're not going to pigeonhole ourselves because we're not going to, if something works, we're going to use it if we can, or we're going to send somebody to where they can get the help, right? So
Right.
anyway, thank you, you guys.
Thank you. Thanks for
Fabulous.
thanks for calling in and sharing all your stuff with us. We're gonna have to do part 2. This is
I'd
cool.
be fine with that if you want to.
I think this is very very valuable to people to hear this.
I'm just happy to share.
There's options. There's
Happy
there's
to
options.
share.
Yeah.
What are you laughing at?
I was just gonna ask another question.
Do it.
What's your thoughts on marijuana?
Okay.
Oh, this is a fabulous thing, but
Yes.
I get so mad about them taking it apart. You want the whole plant, okay?
Well, and it can be, like I said before, it can be used as a tool just like any herb, but if we're using it all the time just like any herb, it
Yep.
can be detrimental. And it does
Right.
cause, in Chinese medicine, I was taught that it causes liver qi stagnation, anger,
It causes
But
anger.
This
and
is
frustration.
again
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
dosage related.
When it
Dosage
actually
related.
is the opposite of that at first.
Yes. Yes. But in time, and I've seen it over and over again. Have you,
Interesting.
Roxene?
When people abuse it, yes, but when it's appropriately dosed,
Yes.
it is a very effective. I do a lot of integrative oncology, and it can help a lot of issues and symptoms of things of
Right.
chemotherapy
Yes.
and
Right.
radiation.
Making you
Right.
I
hungry.
have seen it topically, I've seen it sublingually, injected, whatever, but it can be a panacea that helps people get through something.
Absolutely.
But again, it's dose related. And we can get into all sorts of plant medicine, psychedelics. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yes. Psychedelics
my
are
favorite
amazing.
subject, oh my stars, when we talk about psycho-emotional.
Yes.
don't get me
Oh my God, we got to do part 2.
Yeah.
This is
Don't get me
awesome.
started there.
The ayahuasca.
The
episode.
ayahuasca, the mushroom, the psilocybin.
But
Yes.
again, it comes back to
But again,
what is the purpose behind it?
What's
Yes.
intent?
what
What is our
the
intent?
energetic purpose?
Sure.
Yeah.
Back to
It's again,
Are we
And-
trying
That's
to
insanity.
relieve ourselves from something we're not dealing with?
Yeah, is this
Are-
maintenance or is this?
Yeah. What is it?
What's intent
What
here?
is it? So I've had
all right,
experience.
you guys.
Go, yeah, we'll go on. Right.
We can go on and
Yep.
on.
Yep. And I won't get home, and I've got to get up in the morning and go to work.
I know. Get out of here. You guys
That's
gotta
right.
go.
So do I. The 8:00 patients, and it's like sometimes I have to do a little research so I can have more tools available.
Yes. Sorry, dear. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you
This has
so
been
much.
awesome.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your call and all your time you've shared with us tonight.
All right. I
Okay.
appreciate being able to share. Have a good night. And questions, well, we're here.
Yep.
Take care.
All right. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Oh, that was perfect. That was absolutely perfect. That was the coolest ass thing ever. First time we did a call like that. That was great.
Oh, cool.
So thank you for that. That's amazing. She's
Yeah.
incredible.
She is right. Well, that's why I thought, yeah, this is not going to be bad. And then you get another perspective too,
Yes.
not just me.
Oh, I love it. It was fire. We'll do it. We'll do another one. We got to do another one.
Yeah, maybe we can come up with some ideas of, or if people call you and say, hey, what about this, that,
X,
and the
Y, and
other?
Z. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
maybe we can sit down and kind of brainstorm a little bit, even if it's a half hour. If we do a call in where
You could
we
call
do,
too.
Yeah, we could do a call in and we could do just a half hour, because I think that the short ones might be beneficial for people.
Absolutely.
Just get them going.
It's valuable stuff, man. People need it. People need it. You need to go home. Okay, everybody.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks for everything. Thanks, Dre.
Yes, thank you.
It's good to be alive.
Yeah.
Everybody, be good to everybody.
Yeah.
We're only going to be here one freaking time. Kind of.
Maybe.
Maybe 10 times. Who knows?
Maybe thousands. Maybe millions.
Maybe millions. Just remember, satisfaction is the death of desire, and we love you all.